Divorce happens. In fact, it happens to almost 50% of first marriages. So let's talk about it. Welcome to Divorce Happens, a podcast to educate, inspire, support, and yes, make you laugh through divorce and beyond so that you can start fresh on the next phase of your journey. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh.
You get divorced. You get divorced.
Getting divorced?
I'm getting a divorce.
You're getting a divorce.
Because she's getting a divorce.
So what if I get divorced?
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Divorce Happens, the podcast where we support you before, during, and after divorce with education, inspiration, a little bit of laughter, because as we know, divorce happens and then you start fresh. And we're here with one of our Fresh Starts experts, Brittany Turner. Brittany, can you tell us who you are and what you do?
Yes, my name's Brittany Turner. I'm a CPA and a CFP, which is a certified financial planner. I'm located in Asheville, North Carolina. I own an accounting firm where we specialize in working primarily with women business owners. And I actually just recently relocated to Asheville after I got divorced this past year.
Well, there you go. So many of our experts, by the way, are divorced, which is why they sign on to become experts.
Yes.
So we love that because you know what it feels like. So, so many people think when they go through a divorce, the first thing they need is a divorce lawyer, which we obviously need some sort of legal representation. But the other side of divorce is the financial aspect. And I remember going through my divorce, and I'm sure you know, that taxes and divorce are not friendly friends. They are very tricky. They're very tricky. And it took me like years before my taxes finally got themselves settled. Not to scare anybody, because I have ADHD and probably didn't handle things the way that they should have been handled. So, Brittany, we have you here. Can you just talk us through if somebody's considering divorce and they're going to start talking to somebody like you, their tax person, a CDFA, whatever it is? What are some of, first of all, the documents that they need to have kind of ready to go? And then what are some things they should think about when it comes to filing for divorce, the divorce process, and their taxes?
The first thing that comes to mind is making sure that you're informed about what's happening with your taxes in the first place and that you have all of the information. Luckily for me, in my situation, doing what I do for work, I sort of was in charge of filing our taxes. So that part was a little bit easier for me, but I always made sure to include my ex-husband in everything that had to do with our finances, our taxes, just because, if we ever weren't together, I wouldn't want him to feel left in the dark. So I very much believe in and advocate for, both people being involved, even if one person is sort of in charge of that thing. I do think that it's really important to know, do I have copies of all of my old tax returns?
Mm-hmm.
Are we filing joint or separate? Are there refunds that got carried forward to the next year? And then who will get those refunds in the settlement? Is it going to be split 50-50? Is it due to one person or the other?
Yep.
Is there anything that overlaps that we're going to need to coordinate on for the next year? Are there children who's claiming who is a dependent?
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to structure that? Is there a house that we're selling? Are we getting a final 1098, which is your mortgage interest statement? Are we going to split that 50-50 or are we splitting it some other way? So all of these things really need to be discussed. I don't want to say ahead of time because sometimes it's not possible to discuss it ahead of time, but at least, during the settlement process, just to make sure that it's all in writing and there's no, it always breaks my heart when I go to file someone's tax return and they thought that, each partner was going to claim, one child or two children or whatever it is. And then the ex has already claimed all of the kids. And then they have to go back to the attorney and So to just make sure that, that's all really clearly spelled out. And then to really make sure that, you know what's happening with your taxes. And
Yeah. Yeah. These are great. So many great pieces of advice there. I've talked personally to a lot of women. I'm going to say women because it has been women who have come to me and said, "Well, I never manage the taxes. I have no idea where our tax papers are." And for those of you listening that might be going through that process, there is something that your lawyer can do to kind of get your soon to be ex to show the papers, and they that is financial abuse, so they have to actually show that stuff. So I just wanted to clear that up too. I love everything you said, and I myself had so many tricky things because I own my own business, and when I paid my quarterlies for my business, it was through our joint filing, right? And so right before we were supposed to sign the papers, I got documents from the government that said we never got your quarterly or you owe whatever it was. It's because the refunds went to him instead of
yeah,
to me, right? And
yes.
so there's so many complicated issues here. So I guess my question for you before we let you go too is if is it worth it if you're going through a divorce to work with the same tax person you've worked with, or should you start with a new tax person? What do you think about that?
Oh, that's a good question. I think if if you feel comfortable with the person that has been handling it, to have them handle, and if you feel like it's safe,
Right.
then it could be a good idea to have them handle at least that first year because they do
Yeah.
have that history. And then depending on how you feel, possibly switch into
Right.
someone else for the next year. I did also want to say about the estimated payment. So
Yeah.
with the estimated tax payments, usually on a joint return, it will be the husband's name first on the
Yes, it will
return
be.
as the taxpayer, regardless of who's actually the breadwinner. We always change that to put the woman's name first.
Love it. That's why you're a fresh starts expert. We
It's
love
like a
that.
little, like, reverse, like,
Yep.
microaggressions.
Yep.
So that's one thing, and you can switch it each year too. It's fine.
Yep.
Maybe it could cause issues with a state, but with the IRS, it's
Yeah, they
fine.
don't care. They're getting their
So
money. Yeah.
exactly, don't worry about that. But two, second part, when you go to make your estimated tax payments, you don't have to pay them under the primary taxpayer's Social Security number. You can pay under your own Social Security number.
Yes.
So even if you're not planning on getting divorced or, soon, or it doesn't I just even when my husband was the primary taxpayer, I always paid my estimates under my Social
Me
Security
too.
number.
Me too. Yeah, that's really good advice, especially for anyone listening to this who own their own business. Great advice. Great advice. Okay, Brittany. So what do you do? How do you support clients?
Yeah, so, we do bookkeeping, accounting, taxes, some light financial planning for small business owners, in the US, across all the states,
Amazing.
and, we support them with everything, payroll, how to, I don't know, pay themselves, structure their
Yeah.
business,
Yeah. It's hard.
pricing,
Yeah.
everything, yeah.
I love that. I love that. So necessary. So if you're a small business owner, please reach out to Brittany. She will get you set up. And you can find all of Brittany's info at Fresh Starts in the expert guide. Brittany, before we let you go, especially as someone that's just gone through this, what would be some words of encouragement you could leave to somebody who's listening to this episode?
Ugh. Um, I would say to just be gentle with yourself
Yeah.
and yeah, to just be gentle. It's not, for me personally, it wasn't something that I ever thought was, going to happen. And, I mean, I'm so happy now, but, it was hard.
Yeah.
It was very, very, very difficult, and, I just tried to be very gentle with myself and to take it as seriously as it is, and to give myself lots of grace,
Yeah.
yeah, to just go slow and be gentle.
Yeah. And it's going to be hard for a little while, and then it won't be as hard every day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Well, we appreciate you so much, Brittany, and the work you do to support women and business and people going through life transitions, and we're so happy you're part of Fresh Starts. So thank you so much for being here today. Divorce Happens is produced by Fresh Starts Registry, the only divorce registry platform for everything you need to begin again, including home items, hype team, and everything in between. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh. We're here to support you before, during, and after divorce. Head to freshstartsregistry.com for more info.